I ever tell you about Trevor?
Major drug dealer.
Real hillbilly type shit.
Bring me my coffee, I'm gonna cut your arm off. Oh, it's the same old.
One of my favorite Grand Theft Auto protagonists, or I guess in this particular case antagonist, has always been Trevor Phillips from Grand Theft Auto 5. I can never quite put my finger on it, but in spite of his bloody fingernails, cracked, discolored teeth, and raggedy, dirty clothing, Stephen Oggs' portrayal of this alleged cannibalistic psychopath was so captivating, I just always had to play as Trevor. To see his reactions, his words, and ultimately his temperament towards any given situation, Trevor Phillips, ironically, despite him coming off as the most repulsive and antagonistic of the entire cast of Grand Theft Auto 5, he is the most intriguing, and paradoxically, while he has his best friend Michael on edge most of, if not the entire duration of the game, Trevor is oddly the most honest and the most loyal of the bunch in a very twisted way, showing this multiple times throughout the duration of Grand Theft Auto 5's story. While Trevor did leave Michael to suffer at the hands of the Chinese Triads, a gang Trevor ultimately started a war with, without Michael's knowledge, leaving him to deal with those consequences, this could easily be argued as Trevor's extreme rage and hurt, knowing Michael betrayed him and his other close friend Brad. This could be the most extreme case of letting someone know they pissed you off and couldn't care less of what happened to them. Perhaps it was something Michael brought down on himself and Trevor believed it was his own justice that has been a long time in the making. We can't say for certain. What we can say is we know Michael betrayed Trevor, who was suspected of being more than willing to let Trevor take the bullet that accidentally hit and killed Brad, changing the course of events that ultimately would have been Michael's retirement from his criminal life. Yet in spite of this, Trevor let Michael not only live when he discovered Brad in Michael's fake grave, and he even saved his life in the mission to wrap up, where Michael was caught in the middle of a firefight between the IAA and the FIB.
Oh, the fuck?
Hey! If anyone's gonna kill you, old friend, it's gonna be me!
Oh, you here to finish the job, T?
No, I'm just here for the opportunity. Now run!
Whether if he was serious about him being the one to kill Michael or not, at the end of the day, Trevor is the one who does save Michael, and even Dave Norton by extension. Kinda crazy to think, since Dave was technically meant to be the one to kill Trevor all those years ago. Trevor's over-the-top reactions, his unpredictable temper, and the character's reactions around him makes him an incredibly interesting character to play as. I wish we did get the long-rumored Grand Theft Auto 5 single-player DLC, a DLC that either dove deeper into the relationship between Trevor and Michael specifically, or at least show how Trevor got himself established in Sandy Shores leading up to the events of Grand Theft Auto 5, how he came to meet Ron and Wade, and how they ended up basically staying with him to be a part of TP Industries. Or even if the DLC went the other way, instead of looking into Trevor's past, taking a look at how he and Michael, or even Wade, Ron, and himself moved on after the events of Grand Theft Auto 5's story. Just looking back at Trevor's interactions in the Strangers and Freaks missions, hearing his insecurities as a Canadian, his poor childhood that was filled with maltreatment at the hands of his mother and allegedly his father, and how, well, yes, he is considered to be a broken and abhorrent person that kills people and allegedly eats them for fun, does meth, shits behind dumpsters, sells people to a cult hidden in the mountains, he is still an insanely intelligent person that has that undying loyalty. It's this depth, this complexity to Trevor Phillips that makes him one of the most interesting and frankly satisfying characters to play as in the Grand Theft Auto series. While there may be some potential depth that could always be looked deeper into and explored with the relationship between Trevor and Michael, which can lead to a series of other discussional videos touching on not only their friendship that seems to constantly teeter back and forth, with Michael struggling to keep himself dedicated to the domestic family life while trying to fulfill a secret yearning to return to his criminal past, a past that's not only dangerous but is seen as reckless, a carelessness that's constantly reminded to him by the mere presence of Trevor. Trevor is, by Michael's description,
Man, yeah, and that ain't even the worst part. I ever tell you about Trevor?
Man, I think so. Shit.
Well, if you only think so, then I wasn't being completely honest. He's, hell walking on earth. That's what he is.
And it's that very hell, the tormentor of Blaine County, and his unpredictability mixed with his tendency to completely and totally give into his emotions, that makes him such a joy in a weird way to be around, to watch that performance. And that's not even strictly speaking from a story sense. Rockstar was well aware of this. You know, they made the decision to bring in quote-unquote light RPG elements and make Trevor a complete powerhouse, to dish out all this extra damage, to make vehicles explode with ease and him take so much less damage. I mean, of course you can chalk it up to all the drugs he does. You can basically say that he's spazzed out on meth and that's how he's getting into this mind state. But the GTA games are a parallel of reality, in a weird way, in a very loose way speaking. You can go out, drive in traffic, drive your car across the sidewalk, run as many people over as possible, execute people in broad daylight. Yeah, you might get some cops on you, but you are completely forgotten about in a matter of 5 to 10 minutes. There's no real repercussions or everlasting repercussions, and it's Trevor that allows you to completely give in and even revel in the chaos that you're committing.
You gotta be careful, buddy, all right? Because they are looking around these trains for illegals. And if you're mistaken, you'll be shot, amigo.